What is going on, YouTube? Julian back with another video, and today we are going to talk about how to buy $1 million home, and I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on this whiteboard right here. My friend lent it to me specifically for this video, so if you don't like the video for the video, just like the video for the big whiteboard. So growing up, I was told that if you wanted to obtain something or you were going to get something, you need to have a plan. And pretty much when we're looking at things, for example, like our favorite car, of course, like $1 million house, we're going to get that house one day, we're going to get that car one day, but we're not even looking at it from a financial standpoint. So what I'm doing is I'm doing the work for you. I'm going to break everything down so that way you can have a plan and you have an idea of what it takes to get $1 million house. Okay, so there are 3 different ways that you can buy $1 million home, and 2 are a loan, and obviously 1 is cash. So let's just go through the first loan, which is conventional. So conventional loan, you have a VA loan, and then you have cash. But what we're going to talk about in this video is we are going to talk about a conventional loan. Reason being is with VA, it would be where you could basically get $1 million home with 0 down, but not all lenders are the same. I can't speak for all the lenders, but I can speak for a general idea of what a conventional loan would take to get a property. So we're going to go over the conventional loan. And with that, so we're just going to get rid of the VA and we're going to get rid of the cash for now. Cash is obvious, you wouldn't have a monthly payment. So we're looking at this from a financial standpoint if you're going to have to take a loan to get the $1 million house. And just so you know, this can also apply to buying any other home, but obviously we're doing $1 million house, so the numbers are going to be a lot bigger. But the math for the most part stays the same. So if you're looking to buy a house, do this math. So typically with a conventional loan, they would ask for a minimum of 5% down payment. Put down. So 5% down, you have the rare occasional 3%. They might ask for you for more, but usually in my case with most of the investors or clients that I've worked with, 5% is going to be what you're going to look at when you're doing a conventional loan. So let's write here 1 million. So what's 1% of $1 million? It would be 10,000. So we would do 5%. So it's going to be 50,000. So you would need 50,000. Keep in mind that's minimum. It could be more. 50,000 down in order to get $1 million house, and that's if you qualify for the 5% down. So let's go ahead and subtract the 50,000 from the million, which is going to leave you at 950,000, which is going to be your actual loan. And like I said, not all lenders are the same. They're not all equal. So you may qualify for a different interest rate with a different lender. But just with the way that things are going, let's just give it an estimated 6% interest. But always shop around for lenders. Don't go with the first one. Of course, if you have close ties to them, feel free to use them. I always support my friends. We'll just write 6% right here. So to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to pull it up here on the calculator. I'm going to do the math for you so that way we can go ahead and calculate the estimated payment for you loaning $950,000 with a 6% interest rate. So let's look at your monthly payment. Okay, so inputted into our loan calculator, we got $5,696 monthly. And keep in mind, that's just the principal and the interest. So this doesn't include taxes and this doesn't include insurance. So on a monthly basis, you would basically have to make, let's just say $6,000, but it would probably be a lot more. But you want to make a lot more than that. Reason being is obviously we have living expenses, we have bills, we have to get food, we have to get gas. So this is just your principal and your interest for $1 million house with a minimum down payment of $50,000. Okay, so we're not done yet. So you also got to keep in mind that there are closing costs when it comes to closing a home. And so closing costs, usually with like a residential property, not like obviously like in the high-end market, like $1 million home, but it's usually estimated around 3%. But let's just go ahead and say, and like I said, this is just an extremely rough estimate, do not quote me on this, but you would be adding another $15,000 on top of that. A survey usually is about $500. Once again, this varies wherever you live and also usually with the price point, so could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. I know it's not 3%. There's no way that there's a $30,000 closing on a $1 million home for closing costs. But so there's that. You also have to keep in mind title. Usually title's a little bit more expensive with the price of the property, but I'm probably gonna underquote it with $2,000. And that's mainly because you already have obviously the big bulk of the $50,000, which is going to be your 5% down payment. Now you have to add your closing costs, so an additional $15,000 on top of that. That's $65,000 plus another $2,000. That's going to be $67,000 plus $500. So $67,500 would be your total. So that's what you're looking for your cash to close, which means that's what it's going to take to close your property. And then just a quick statement here. Obviously, your first step is to really contact a lender. You want to contact a lender and find out where you are as far as your qualifications. And if you even need that $50,000 down payment, because like I said, VA loan might be a unique situation. Your credit might just be extraordinary in your background as far as what you would have to put down as a down payment. So you might even just have to put 3%, or you might have to put more. This is just a rough estimate in big numbers. So your first step is to get a lender. Second step is to save, or you could do it vice versa if you like. But if you really want to know where you're at, and if you feel like you're close to this, even if you're like 40,000 or maybe even have like 55,000 in the bank, I would still consider contacting a lender if you see that there's a house that you're truly in love with and you're like, that's going to be the house. Because there are also situations where your agent could also negotiate some of your closing costs, and if the house has been on the market for quite a while, your odds of that are kind of high. So lender, save, or save and lender, but I always say lender first because you find out where you're at, and then contact your realtor, search for your house, get under contract, and close. So what actually gave me this idea to make this video is I'm taking a real estate investment class. We're using a lot of big numbers in there. And it's mostly with like apartments and investments, obviously, because that's a real estate investment class. So we're talking about like your profit, how much you're gonna make, and we're just going into deep detail like that. So if you wanna see something like that, let me know. We're talking about buying like corporate buildings, apartments. But here I'm talking about a house, because most people can understand the general math of just purchasing a home and where you need to be. You can get a lot for $1 million here in Texas compared to, San Diego, California, for example. But this is just a really good rough estimate of where you would be, or where you would have to be, in order to get $1 million home with a conventional loan. VA, like I said, is slightly different. I wouldn't want to go over that because, like I said, every lender is different. But usually with a VA home, sometimes you could actually get a house with zero down and even a small portion of your closing costs covered. I think $2,500 minimum here in Texas. Don't quote me on that. But there's that, and of course cash. Obviously, if you're buying a home cash, then you're not going to have a monthly payment. But at least now you actually have a really good rundown of what it takes to get $1 million house, if this is something that you're interested in, because you want to have that step-to-step guide, because you also want to envision yourself and have a plan. So if you like this video, it might be a lot shorter than my usual video, and it's completely different because I'm writing on a big whiteboard. So like I said, give it a thumbs up for the whiteboard. Let me know down below, and we can talk a little bit more about investments. Now that I actually know a lot more than I did, taking this course, it's pretty cool. I can break down like basically what your rate of return would be, which would be how much you're making percentage-wise on an investment property. But till next time, guys. So if you like this video, please leave a comment down below if you have any questions. If you're looking to move to Texas and you're thinking about purchasing a home here, I work in all price ranges. Keep me in mind, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And like I said, one more time, throw it up a like, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.